Hi, this is Jake Nildoyangan. Have you ever wondered how to take photos that shows the passage of time? Or even wondered how to take photos like this? Or maybe like this? Well, today I'm here to demonstrate the basics of long exposure photography. First, a little background on what long exposure photography is. It's just like any other fields of photography, but commonly used to show the passage of time or take a surreal take on nature's beauty. Now that's out of the way, let's talk about basic equipment needed in order to start with long exposure photography. First, we need to know what equipment we need in order to do long exposure photography. And it's a guarantee that if you're into photography, you'd already have some of them. First, a tripod for keeping the camera stable. Second, a DSLR camera, of course. Third, and it's optional, ND filters or polarizers. And last is the shutter remote, and this is optional as well. Now that we've gotten cover of what equipments we need, now let's get going to setting up the camera. First, we need to set it to manual mode. This allows us to gain full control of the camera's functionalities. Next, we set the camera to shoot in raw images. This will help you keep more details in the image you captured, and it will surely help you in post-editing or correcting the image. Next, we set the ISO to the minimum, which is 100 ISO. We need to do this in order to keep the image noise from a minimum, or keeping the noise to a down low. Next, we set the shutter speed to 30 seconds, or depending on your intended duration, setting the shutter speed to bulb mode is suggested for long exposure photography. But for today's demonstration, we'll utilize the camera's built-in settings. Next, we adjust our aperture to assist the depth of field of the images in your scene. Usually it's around f8 to f22, since the subject of the long exposure photography are on nature or scenes or buildings that we need them to be clear in the image as well. Next is we disable the autofocus system and focus into our target, because we need to keep full control of the camera, and also the camera when shooting at night tends to lose track of which subject is being targeted within the frame, since the camera would now have focusing difficulties at night. Next, we disable the lens IS. The image stabilizer is enabled. We'll try to correct small and minute details found in your image or frame, which is something we didn't want because long exposure photography is all about the small details inside. Now, we check if the light balance is centered. If not, correct your ISO and aperture to fix it. Keep note, if you're using a filter or a polarizer, overexposing it by one level or a half can help keep the image clear, or at least maintain its colors. Then last, we mount the camera to the tripod. Make sure it sits tightly and in balance. Lastly, we hit the shutter button and wait till the camera is finished taking the shot. And that's the basic of long exposure photography. Now get out there in the world and start getting those shots. As we all know, in photography, practice can help us achieve what shots we aim to take. So go out there and try your newly learned photography knowledge to the test.